And welcome back to the LEC here in Malmö. You guys are getting a preview of the cosplayers from the cosplay competition that will happen tomorrow. Winners will get prizes and a trophy here in the LEC Expo, the Malmö Expo. Looking forward to seeing exactly
what would you cosplay, Caedrel?
What would I cosplay?
Yeah.
I mean, we all know how's a half.
I'll get a six-pack.
No, I want you as XDD. I want you that like that, just like XDD.
Twitch
main, yeah.
What would you do? Ezreal?
What would I do?
I think the Ezreal.
I would do Ahri.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you make a good Kayn.
Ahri Leeson, we're in mid-jungle.
I'd do a good Kayn.
Yeah, I think you make a good
Would
Kayn.
I?
You have a similar
because I'm a little demonic.
I'm
is that
Gragas,
why?
obviously. All the things we can choose. Obviously, we are waiting to start game 2 of this best of 5, and Fnatic had what was a very one-sided performance in game 1, especially from Humanoid. He absolutely schooled some kids, so it's going to have to see how Rogue were able to bounce back.
I mean, I think one of the big things was that there was doubt surrounding Rogue, right? Especially after their G2 series, there were question marks around how would they actually look coming into today's series. With a week practice, getting beaten that bad, surely you've been able to rectify some of your issues, but the problem we find is that game 1, you take away what made Fnatic so strong, which was their early game dominance, in particular playing through bot lane. You tried to take that away from them, and then what do? They go for a little bit more of a slower game approach. They go for more scaling, front-to-back team fighting, and they still dominate you in the early game, and they outplay you in the team fights.
I think having champs that need to be proactive for Rogue is not something they should go into in game 2. You know, having Ahri, Vi, playing through mid, playing to bot, it's really complicated. Maybe they should just go and change it to blue side, go for first pick poppies, play something
But what about the early game, then?
Malrang can be the early game bridge, and then I think Larssen can go towards more of his comfort in things like the control mages, maybe a Sylas ban if he wants to blind pick the Ahri again, because Sylas notoriously good in things like Ahri. I want to see Larssen on champs like Lissandra, Taliyah, Ahri with Sylas down, and then use Malrang as a bridge and keep bottom top into champs that actually can play well into the mid to late game.
The real problem I think Rogue has is, do you give up jungle bans to ban away the Sylas?
Yes.
We're going to have to wait and find out, because it's that music, which means we're about to get into draft.
If I was Rogue here, I would actually just drop the Poppy ban, swap it to a Sylas, and then change. Well, the Sylas is already banned away, so we'll see if they go for those jungle bans. But I think Trundle is a no-brainer. Look for a first pick Poppy. We'll see if they do that. The question is how much pressure, how much prio they have on Lucian Nami. Is this a die on the sword must pick for Rogue? Because I think they can have options to play against it.
Okay, so bans are going to be very different. Sylas removed, Yuumi removed, and you have to wonder now, is it a Trundle first pick?
Could be. Their last ban will tell everything, whether they want to force a ban out of Fnatic. Their Jarvan's still up as well, right? So I think there's a plethora of jungles available, despite there being 2 bans. I mean, if you ban something like a Trundle here, is it in Fnatic's best interest to ban Poppy? I think it is if they have to play Jarvan into it, but Sejuani's up as well, so a lot of jungle champs available.
Does mean that Draven's like to get through the draft as well. If we do see that Trundle for Poppy change, there is Draven removed. We'll see if Fnatic decide to leave both the Poppy and the Trundle up here, and if they stick with a more conventional like Jarvan ban that they had in game 1.
I wonder if it's just going to be a Lucian first pick for Rogue, trade junglers of Trundle Poppy. Yeah, I think it might be, and Fnatic I think are pretty happy with that. They'll just play some kind of Lulu lane, but I think Rogue might have Jarvan up their sleeve depending on what happens here. Fnatic pretty happy taking away things like Poppy, Zeri, Lulu on 3, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they'll just do Lulu Trundle right now, or they'll do Zeri Trundle. That's my expectation. Razork is so confident on that champion. He's quite happy to play, well, both sides of the matchup, whether it be the Poppy into the Trundle, whether it be the Trundle into the Poppy. But it's pretty much all he's played throughout playoffs, right? Like, it is his Poppy and his Trundle, and of course it's the meta. But we had question marks around his narrow champ pool, quote unquote. They tried to attack it last game. He didn't care. He brought out the Xin, and now he's going to get his hands back on again with the Poppy.
There it is. Zeri, Poppy, Lulu on 3, Lucian, Trundle, Nami. I guess it's just going to be the first rotation unless Fnatic want to swap it up. I don't really think you need to. There's no urgency in doing so unless you want to pick Ahri here and ban 2 mids, or LeBlanc here with the pre-Taliyah ban. Nope, they're going to go for Lulu. I would be very scared as Rogue now for LeBlanc, because you're playing Lucian, Nami, Trundle, not a lot of lockdown, nothing like a Nautilus that can actually stop that champ. And if Fnatic ban away things like the Lissandra or Ahri, they might be giving it away, but mid on 4 here is probably what they'll look for unless they ban away things like the Aatrox or the Ornn, and top lane raising priority with things like Renekton and Gwen.
I do like taking away the Ornn here because obviously some of that hard engage, that lockdown potential from Rogue would have come from top lane. Removing Ornn removes a way for Rogue to do that and have to find different avenues to approach these fights. Rogue now can look towards some of those mid lane bans if they want to try and pinch out Humanoid a little bit more. Can of course still look towards taking something away from Wunder in the top side. There's the Ahri removed by Rogue, so now respecting the fact that, you know, Humanoid went 11-1-6 in game 1 and they want to try and pinch his pool a little bit.
I wonder if, do you think it's Rogue's best bet to ban away things like the LeBlanc now and play Control Mage versus Control Mage, Viktor Orianna?
Yeah, I think they could.
That's where Larssen thrives as well. He loves his Control Mage, man.
Because you were talking about that, I was thinking about the other side, which is top lane. And I'm wondering, like, is Gragas a problem that Rogue also needs to be worried about? Because when you kind of look at Fnatic's comp, you've got Poppy disengage, you have a Lulu, and then if you put a Gragas into a Trundle Lucian, who are both super short range, how does Rogue ever play the game? Especially with Ornn removed, Sejuani is the only other pick that I think is, like, really important here. But if you blind pick Sej, I feel like that people are going to have answers to it. So I'm worried for Rogue right now. That's why I'm worried for Rogue right now.
Well, there's the LeBlanc ban, so they do want to do a Control Mage face-off depending on what Humanoid has. We're expecting now Viktor, Orianna, Corki. This is the pool that we're looking at unless there is all other mobile mids that they want to lean into. I'm really curious what Fnatic's top laner is. I was thinking Aatrox, but the Ornn ban confused me a bit, but they're going to go for the Aatrox blind. Now, Odoamne, what does he match it with? Does he want to pick things like
a
Camille or Fiora or Jax? Is that in his wheelhouse? I don't think so. I think Renekton is more of the, Renekton's more of the wheelhouse that Odoamne would deep dive into, and then have a Control Mage mid, so you have the top side as a bridge, the bot lane as a mid game, and the mid lane as a late game.
My issue though then becomes you're engaged, like you're playing into Zeri Lulu.
Yeah.
Which champ gets onto Zeri Lulu? I feel like this is an issue that they had last week as well. Sure, Rogue's comp is very solid in terms of a front to back, and I think that if you have the opportunity to play that, then you're in a comfortable position. It all depends on how Humanoid chooses to round out this draft. It looks like he will go for the Orianna as he predicted Caedrel. We are going to see a pretty typical front to back comp, arguably with Fnatic having better scaling because of the Aatrox and the Zeri that they'll have in the late game.
Yeah, definitely have, and they have more kind of range, I feel like, than Rogue.
Yeah.
The culling and the Chaos Storm, I really feel like the Orianna Ball is such a big threat that you have to walk into. Zeri, Lulu, poke. I think Rogue have tools though. You know, they've matched Mage mid, I think they're pretty happy with that. They've matched early game jungle, they're probably really happy with that. The problem is they're facing a little bit of a scaling deficit right now, which hopefully the Viktor can pick up in their eyes. The only issue I have with Fnatic's draft is the lack of front line in a way, right? The Poppy will be a good front line, but the Aatrox can't really merit himself as a front line. Both top laners want to do same things in finding backlines, right? The only benefit Fnatic have, of course, is Poppy ults can knock away the Renekton, can knock away the Trundle, and then your backline is so vulnerable.
I was just about to say the same thing. That's the added advantage of this Poppy, and we know the Razork is incredibly comfortable on it. So, again, of course, our perspective is very much that the Rogue are coming in as the underdogs into this matchup, especially with Fnatic's epic rise through the lower bracket. They're looking to do the same thing that they did last year, make it to the finals. We'll see if they can do it. Rogue already falling short in game 1. They're going to have to bounce back here in game 2. They have more options, but the pressure only continues to mount.
Definitely does. This is the game they need to break Fnatic. They need to tie it up as 1-1.
Well, let's get on into it then. Fnatic versus Rogue up next. Game 2. Let's see if Rogue can bounce back. Now, for any Rogue fans out there that might be feeling a little bit dead and buried already after going 0-1 in game 1, firstly, keep supporting your team even if they lose the first game. Secondly, there is a precedent for Rogue. When they played Fnatic in spring, they were 2-0 down and they managed to reverse sweep to make it into the finals. Here, of course, a little bit more weight on their shoulders. Larssen in front of his home crowd. A lot of these players playing for the first time in an arena this size. And I will say the arena has been quite loud and will be playing on their minds.
The last split, while it did go Rogue's way last year, it went Fnatic's way, right? And what we think is interesting about Fnatic's run is it actually emulates basically what we saw last year, pretty much to the T. And like we were making a bit of a joke, you know, like, okay, so you've gone through the first one, right? This is done. They finished 5th. They won the first round. They won the second round. Then they won the next round. And now you're here. This is exactly where you are. And last year, It was a 3-0.
It was.
Of course, we talked about it, but the change there was what then happened in the last split, which was the reverse sweep. So it could go either way. Either it's a reverse sweep, or it's a 3-0.
Yep.
You'll have to watch and find out.
It can be 1-on-1 as well.
Nah,
Because we only
that wouldn't fit the narrative.
Okay.
So what just happened on screen there was, it looks like Razork started a pink and put it in a bot lane brush that Rogue have now killed. So they've denied a little bit of vision from Razork, whereas Malrang has kept his pink ward. Both junglers starting on the red buff, maybe going to path to opposite sides. We'll have to keep track of what they do. No late invades. I think Rogue were posturing on level 1. Humanoid was marking very well with his Orianna ball. But mid lane matchup will be quite quiet. I think bot lane will be a lot of farming. Top lane is where I think both junglers need to look and keep their eyes on.
So far, nothing too chaotic in the early game. And our expectations were that, especially in game 1, normally you can have a little bit of a slower start. Playing in Arena can be very stressful. The pressure can be very scary. But Humanoid did not do that. He had a stellar performance. We saw a very early gank from Razork into the flash being burnt from Larssen, and then we saw a solo kill from Humanoid. Less likely in a control mage matchup. We expect the farming to be a little bit more active, and both these mid laners, and a matchup that Larssen for sure is definitely a lot more comfortable in.
The mental game is so important, especially after game 1, because what will happen now is Upset will feel a lot more comfortable on stage, and he'll go for aggressive trades that sometimes he thinks he will win because he knows that Rogue is playing scared and will back away, and Comp will just dash away rather than fight back. So Rogue needs to be very aware as to when Fnatic are overstepping and make sure that they're there to punish and they're not playing scared.
And Wunder will be typing in all chat.
Oh,
that's
he
the
will.
added mental games that you have to remember. Good
Just like
damage
that.
comes out from Comp and Trymbi there, though.
And this is one of the strengths for Rogue of not having the Yuumi on the other side. If that's a Yuumi, Upset takes the damage and gets healed as Malrang looks towards the mid lane. Pillar going to come down. Humanoid does still have that flash and won't even have to use it.
Very quick reactions. Humanoid uses the self-shield W to get move speed instantly the second the pillar lands. Manages to get mid-wave in, and this is really important here because Fnatic are bringing their mid laner to bot, regardless of whether he's basing right now. The information game is so important because now Rogue might be sweating, saying there could be 4 people towards the bot side here. No, there was a ward on Humanoid, so they know it's only 3. So I think Comp is actually pretty happy stepping up here and taking aggressive trades. They should know Razork's on their Krugs.
For the moment, Comp and Trymbi able to get some damage down onto Hylissang and Upset. Razork is, as you say, behind them here, Caedrel. We'll see if Comp and Trymbi respect it. The wave not in the best of places for them. A little bit too far up in the lane as Comp pushes forward once again.
I think they're going to get ganked here. How can Rogue react? They'll spot him now.
Trymbi, Polymorph, Steadfast doesn't coming out as well. Trymbi's going to try and flash away, but the hammer comes down and Upset takes first blood.
Flash just slightly too late. Nice chain CC there by Fnatic. I think there was a frame where Trymbi could have flashed the Poppy Eve, but just a second too late. And I think Rogue should know that Poppy was bot side because both junglers cross-mapped each other and they went to opposite sides. Malrang does get up double crab for this, and he has been hovering around mid of most of the time, but it's classic Fnatic level 3 gank bot.
You hit the Hilly flash polymorph. What a gank setup to allow for Razork to close the gap and then get that lockdown onto Trymbi. 2 flashes were committed, both Hilly's and Razork's, but first blood secured for the bot lane of Fnatic, and already they're off to a great start.
I mean, if that's not the most quintessentially Hilly thing I've ever seen, it's like, oh, I'm playing an Enchanter, what should I do? Flash forward. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Flashes up, Hilly's doing something wrong. Good trade there from Odoamne. He's going to spend all his cooldowns, disengage, and look at Razork once again. Steals away the Krugs. Now, on perfect timing before the Gromp spawn here on the top side of the map. He is reading Malrang like a book right now, and he is getting all these advantages in the early game.
He hasn't even based yet. The man does a clear towards bot, gets a kill, runs through mid back to top side, gets double crab, doesn't care. He's just keeping the pace of the game up. I think he knew that Malrang did red raptors into Gromp or something along those lines to get level 3, so he's there to time it very well because of the mid gank. He knew the CS, and he just punishes it. There's a Gromp level 2 gone, and now he'll just base. Doesn't have a ward to drop, it looks like, but Odoamne having the PTA wants to opt into shorter trades.
We saw Odoamne coming out on the top of a little bit of a trade up towards this top side. He did get a lead in game 1 as well, obviously on that Aatrox as the infernal chains come down from Wunder, but slice and dice from Odoamne will get him out of that.
And I mean, credit to Odoamne, I still think he had a great game 1. It was kind of overshadowed by Humanoid's performance, but we saw him with his Aatrox being able to buy time in 2v1s, being able to interrupt a lot of the skills, like stopping Humanoid from even getting involved in a few fights.
We'll get 6 here. But he was going to go for an aggressive all-in.
Does he have flash? He should do.
Wunder, 1 minion for 6. World Ender can come out from Wunder, but he hasn't leveled it up as of yet. Uses it to try and get away and will escape. No summoners burnt on either side.
A lot of pressure though. Wunder wants to catch this wave. He doesn't want to base in TP just yet. He's threat of dive though, so he needs to back away. Humanoid's basing now because he knows he needs to be in range to TP in case a dive kicks off. So Rogue needs to be very aware of the Fnatic mid laner and when he can TP in. They have a small window to pull this off.
I mean, diving Wunder's never the best of ideas as he does flash away, and Malrang calls off the play. Summoner burnt for the Fnatic top laner. Meanwhile, down towards the bottom side, Comp slowed a little bit. Trymbi forced away as well. The bubble's going to go down into Hylissang. He pops the heal to keep himself healthy. Razork looking for the flank position here. No heal, remember, on the Rogue bot lane. They've got the cleanse and the ignite. Odo does have TP to try and join this. Trymbi too far away from the wall, locked up, and Razork has to run for the heals.
No flash, Upset.
The TP's coming out. Upset with no flash, nowhere for him to go. He flashed forward, dashes away though. Larssen still on the chase. Upset trying to get away from this one, doesn't have a way to get over any more walls as Hylissang doesn't land a slow either. A great Ultra Shock laser coming out from Upset, but he will be chased down by Comp. But the heals and the shields and the barrier is enough to keep Upset alive. Chaos Storm towards the top side, chases Razork away, but with the smite on the dragon, he survives as well.
Razork, bow down to the Jungle King. He bought so much time. Upset would have died there if Larssen could gap close in. Razork didn't have enough flash. Wunder's fighting Malrang.
Yeah, he's just a little bit overstepped here, a little bit overstayed. No flash on him, and Malrang will head him over the head with the bats and take the first kill of the game for Rogue.
Oh, I can't wait to see that replay on bot because Razork dashed onto Larssen to stun him when he had like 20% HP, and then he ran away with no flash, baited Larssen in, smited the dragon, and managed to escape. I think it was with the Nimbus Cloak from using the spite, but if he was able to gap close to Upset, he would have picked up that kill.
I mean, Odoamne fumbled his flash. He tried to go over the wall, and he went straight into it. We'll have a look back at this play. The setup looks good initially from Fnatic, but Caedrel, you were highlighting it during the fight. The TP was available for Odo, so he was primed and ready. He just goes back to base. The timing is good for Rogue, and they're able to respond to this initial dive. Razork overcommits to the play, and just keep your eyes on Odo here because they recognize that Upset, he has no flash. The call is good. Upset's going to dash from the wall straight into the wall. He isn't able to get over. If he could land that stun, that's a kill.
Now watch Razork here. Larssen will kill Upset, stuns him, gets the passive, runs away. Upset doesn't die to Comp, and then Razork looks like he's going to die, smites the dragon, gets Nimbus Cloak, runs away. I don't know if he has Ward Walking or anything like that as well, but he had a lot of movement speed to escape, so blunder by Odo to not flash over the wall and get the kill. And really good play there by Razork to shut down Larssen. Now Razork's back up towards his top side. Pink Ward down, so they'll spot out the jungler of Fnatic. Rogue will back away as Upset steps forwards.
No flash, of course, on Upset now. Still about half a cooldown left on that. Rift held the key point of focus for these two teams, which is why they're playing on the top side right now, why that reset has happened. Razork, though, continues to prod and poke into the enemy jungle, seeing if he can spot out Malrang. And obviously was able to get that kill on Wunder at the back end of the play we saw.
So it's a 4v4 on the top side. Larssen wants this blue buff, almost has ult. I think Rogue should contest this. Fnatic just getting away with a Herald here would be a disaster for Rogue. Hilly has flash coming up soon.
Coming going down onto Hilly, trying to get away. Good movement from him, but Malrang coming in with a pillar now, but Humanoid's the first move from the mid lane. Knocked away with the Keeper's Verdict. That subjugate is going to take, though. It's Hylissang able to force away. The shockwave coming out onto Larssen as well as Upset dives forward, but Malrang's going to trade onto him and Upset. You got nowhere to go! Larssen takes him with the Chaos Storm. Rift held secured there by Fnatic as Razork's able to walk away with the eye.
A bit of over-aggression there from Upset, but Fnatic still walk away with the Herald. They're immediately going to rotate over to mid. They know that Larssen has no flash, and he doesn't have the HP to hold. Fnatic looking to secure their first tower of the game.
Larssen's ult was 2 seconds away the second he stepped up to try and kill Hilly. If he had that, Hilly would have died, but he might die now.
Flash, jump, Hylissang though! The shields and the heals are just too much. Malrang knocked away. Odo looking for the flank position here as well. They're investing everything into killing Hilly, and they will take him down. That tasted purple.
Finally get the kill onto Hilly. The movement was clean on top side. Manages to escape that one, but not the flash from Malrang. Larssen finally gets that kill that he was looking for. Wunder was counter-jungling Rogue this whole time. He took away Red, he took away Krugs. He had so much bot push that he's going to force Odoamne away for now. So a lot of action in this early game so far.
Yeah, and it's Rogue coming ahead in the kills, but the gold is still dead even off the back of that Herald. The biggest difference is Larssen is ahead. So let's have a look at this. Hylissang holding off Comp, and then Comp realizes, hang on, you're a Lulu, you don't get to do anything. Malrang then collapses in, but a good ultimate from Razork disengages. Now Fnatic think they can focus, then look at the damage here from Larssen. His ultimate wasn't quite up in time, as Caedrel was highlighting earlier, but then Upset overcommits for the kill, tries to dodge from the gravity field, and ends up losing his life as a result. That kill also goes over to Larssen, setting him up for the next 2 minutes.
It's a deja vu from game 1, really, isn't it? Rogue get a kill, Fnatic get a Herald, and Fnatic got a dragon as well. Upset a bit confused as to what happened there in the fight. They will get this dragon now back to life. Trymbi, almost gets it with the bubble, but 2 neutrals for Fnatic already. They still managed to crack that mid-tier one as well, so gold in their favor for now.
And although Humanoid hasn't been the key focus for Fnatic, even though they only have 1 kill, they are about 600 gold ahead. Of course, getting Humanoid in a good position is important for Fnatic in this game. Orianna can do so much as the game goes on, but she scales well even without these early kills.
I think it's important to remember as well, when we looked at these two comps, very similar in terms of execution, front to back, typical teamfight comp. Expectations were, though, that Rogue would have a little bit more early game agency with Renekton in the top, and then the Lucian Nami in the bot side of the map. They would have a little bit more control and ability to play through the early game. And honestly, I feel like that it's been Rogue reacting to a lot of the aggression that we've been seeing from Fnatic. Good use of TPs. We saw one attempt at a dive top lane that didn't really go in Rogue's favor. But Fnatic is still continuing to scale up. They're in a comfortable position as Odoamne looks for another trade on the Wunder.
If Aatrox going to pull Odoamne back, and he can just, slice his way away from that one, so nothing really happening up towards the top side.
And you can see that in mid, can't you? I mean, it's a 10 CS lead for Humanoid, 2 kills to Larssen, but the gold's dead even. The power of Herald, the power of getting mid tower. Humanoid has flash, he might have to use it here. Does indeed to get over the pillar. Was a bit scared of the follow-up from Malrang.
What I will say, though, is Larssen is very accelerated right now.
Yeah.
The thing about Viktor is he gets those stacks by killing minions, but if he gets a kill or assist, it will contribute 25 additional stacks. The fact that he's already got his upgraded laser working towards the upgraded Q as well, is that this Viktor's going to come online much earlier than he typically does.
And as much as we talk about Larssen, and he kind of is a bit frustrated around the control mage meme, the only play control mages. I'll hold my breath for a second as Razork is around bot.
Trymbi does still have the flash here. Razork looking to chase the keeper's verdict. Trymbi's going to pop the flash. Let's see. Tidal wave on the backswing, but not going to find anyone. Up towards the top side, Odoamne able to slice away from this one. Malrang coming down towards the bottom side, but Wunder trading in here. Dominus pop, World Ender coming out as well. Who wins it out? Wunder forces the flash out of Odo.
Wunder with the poker face. He knew he would go flash there, but Larsen's here. Wunder still has flash. Humanoid's on the chase.
So Humanoid spots him. Wunder can get underneath the tower. The Siphon Power into a Chaos Storm can do a lot of work. There's the Death Ray coming out. There's the Chaos Storm. Wunder shut down. Couldn't get away.
And just going back to my point, yes, Larssen is always playing the control mage. We talk about him being a control mage only player, but he plays it so well, and that's why we do it. So I think this is the comfort we want to see on Larssen. Not Ari into Sylas. Go back to comfort, and he's showing up already 3-0-0 on the Viktor.
And the head-to-head between Humanoid and Larssen right now is 19-19. Who will be the first to hit 20 right now? Larssen is in a prime position to do just that. 3-0-0 is the scoreline. He's working towards that Liandry's, and looks like he's going to have enough gold to get it. No, he's going to move back out of base. Larssen looking strong this game.
And you just saw Trymbi on the player cam just took his hands off the keyboard as he's running to base. He stretched him behind his chair, just trying to relax. I think he knows now that in game 2 they're in a much more comfortable position where they're in a very good state to contest the second Drake when it spawns. Larssen will have his mythic before that. Herald's gone and they don't have to worry about that. Yes, your mid-tier one's down, but I think Rogue have sufficient bot and mid push to keep vision around this bot side river to stop Fnatic from looking for these plays. This is why they deny the Lucian Nami. If Hylissang upset here on the Lucian Nami, they can really threaten Larssen in these mid waves. But that's the power of having this mid push, the power of having the mage, and the reason that they chose to deny it as they play towards the bot side of the map.
And perhaps we did see some of that adrenaline in game 1, some of that tentativeness, some of that nervousness from Rogue, and you can't really blame them, because if you look over the last 4 splits, they have struggled to really make it count when it comes to the biggest stage in the LEC. Third, second, maybe third again. Summer seems to be their third position season. For this team, for players like Odo, the player with the most games ever in the LEC without a title, it must weigh so heavy on you when you get into a situation like this. You lose game 1 and you have to fight back from behind.
It must feel frustrating because they might as well feel like they've reached a ceiling at this point. They just can't break through that wall. It must be some kind of mental barrier as well when it comes to these high intense situations. But for now, again, in game 2, looking good. Wunder's going to try to cancel Trymbi's base. Doesn't get it. Now Fnatic are the ones playing towards the bot side. Odoamne is the one pushing top. They should get this mid-tier 1. Yes, both solo laners have TP, but I think they want to set up for this dragon in 55 seconds.
Odoamne should be more than in time for that objective. Going to clear out this wave, look for a quick reset, then spend that gold. Gold drinking now completed for him. We are working towards this big team fight around the Drake. Larssen, can he get enough gold to secure that mythic before the fight kicks off?
I just want to say, Vedi, if this team fight doesn't happen now, after you've both been promising it to me for like the last 3 or 4 minutes, I'm going to be really disappointed.
Can Larssen
the crowd's going to be really disappointed as well. They'll probably boo you if the fight doesn't
Larssen get the gold needed for both teams to stare at each other awkwardly while the dragon slowly dies? No one fights for it. Razork forced off that fight.
2 levels behind kind of makes sense.
I wonder if Razork started that because he thought that Rogue will go to the bot side and do Drake. He wants to cross-map these neutrals, and Odo's strong enough to just push him out. Wunder didn't really have the wave state to come and join him. And now Razork's moving towards the bot side. Wunder has TP, Odo does as well. It's a 4v4 on this bot side of the map where Larsen's going to base and TP back, we expect, with the mythic that he's been trying to get for the last couple of minutes. And the stare down begins with this objective. Larssen not actually TPing. He's just going to run towards mid and clear the wave and catch that. So Fnatic will be first to this objective. Do they start it up? They try to look for a turn. Of course, Poppy, the power of Poppy, the ultimate to knock away Malrang to secure this objective is always a threat.
Mythic now picked up for Larssen. Level 11 as well. Does have a slight level advantage over Humanoid. But here we are. The objective being started off. Comp and Trymbi have information. The TP is available for both top laners. Where will they go? Odoamne looking to base.
Humanoid going to try and join the team here. Malrang stepping forward. Keepers verdict going down. Knocks away Malrang. Do Rogue still looking to fight. Tied away across the wall. And Humanoid then looking to shut down Humanoid, but he has to flash away. Dragon was secured. Odo looks at the flank position here as Wunder's going to be the midst of 3 members of Rogue. Malrang's trying to make his way back towards his team. Rogue unable to get onto the back line.
Fnatic just getting away with murder there. They managed to get the Dragon and get out. Rogue just quite slow to respond. Odo TP's in at 2k. Larssen's on mid-wave trying to collapse down, but he doesn't TP in to commit to the fight. And of course, we talked about the threat of Poppy. It's very easy for Fnatic to just knock away Malrang, secure the Dragon, and they managed to get out. They blew a couple summoners, but they'll be happy with that.
I think the idea was very good, though, from Rogue. They were set up very well, and I like the TP from Odoamne to actually create a flank. This is something, Caedrel, you talked about in how Rogue were very good when it came to their Dragon fights and actually setting up these creative ways to start the fights off. Unfortunately for them, because Malrang got yeeted away, and because Fnatic had this clean disengage option, there's no way for them to go to a good fight. But this could be their opportunity. They've now started off the Herald. Fnatic saying, no, we're not going to go for the fight.
I think Rogue here will just get this secured pretty easily, and Comp will base and run mid and catch the wave. There won't really be any threat of a Fnatic contest because Wunder's bot, but what Fnatic will do is they will go mid to bot here. We'll see them run towards this bot side of the map and try to secure this bot tier 1 as a retrade. You know, they take Dragon, you go to Herald, they take bot tier 1. That's the idea here for Fnatic. That's the macro play, so they should come out on top, but this Herald is always a threat.
There's the window now, though, for Rogue to start pushing up through mid. They can drop the Herald mid, look to try and trade bot for mid. Depends on what they're actually looking for. We can see Malrang making his way towards top. It looks like they're just going to make the trade. You know, we'll trade tier 2 for the tier 1, and we'll leave mid for the time.
A lot of back and forth.
Constantly trying to put more gold into Larsen's pockets as well. You can see 3-0-0 on the Viktor. 60% win rating on it all time as well. Very experienced on this champion. If you can get him to 2 items, and you can get him in a really strong position. It was Humanoid who dictated the pace of the game in game 1. Here, you see Larssen 1,000 gold ahead in game 2.
Good macro from both teams, finding the easy objectives, securing them. Maybe there was a world where Fnatic could have defended this top tier 2, but it's so hard to do when you commit towards the bot side. Once the play has been made, it's hard to go back on it.
Now look at the minimap. You can see that Larssen, well, I say Larssen, Rogue rather, they have information on where Razork is, they have information on where Humanoid is. They did spot Wunder going back to base. I thought they were going to threaten that mid tower there because it was only Upset actually holding it. So they decided instead to get a little bit of vision towards the bot river. This crowd won't last until the next Dragon spawn, but overall, Rogue now looking to secure another tower in the bottom.
TP wards behind Rogue, though. Humanoid can TP in here. Flanking on Orianna, not great, but if the fight's already kicked off and spells are down, it can work. So that's why Fnatic are trying to defend this tower with their lives. They're making it so Rogue have to overcommit if they want to take this.
Side away coming out, Wunder not able to dodge to the side of that one. Knocked up, the cover's going to come down as well, and the heal from Hylissang will keep Wunder alive. But so much invested from Fnatic. The Shurelias, the heal, the wild growth as well as Malrang looks for the flank position. Tower will fall, Comp dashing forward. Almost gets one to steadfast presence as well from Razork as he tries to disengage his flight once again. Fnatic all survive, but they do lose the tier 1 in the bot lane.
Humanoid's freezing top and he has TP to match, but Rogue are committing so many numbers that Fnatic can't find an angle for him to TP in. There was only really the tower because flanking is a bit too dangerous. The knockback will slow the siege down by getting the cannon minion, but Comp is very low on mana. Rogue have to be careful.
Oh, Malrang! They just assassinate Razork. He was there. You blink, you missed it. He's gone. Rogue going to take their second tier 2 of the game, accelerate this game even further. They have a 3,000 gold lead.
You can see Rogue feeling a lot more comfortable now. It was a little bit shaky in the early game, but the second that they could start playing the map, that's where you have to believe some of the experience from Rogue really came through. Odoamne, he talks about how sometimes in these high pressure situations, he acts as that voice, directing the team, and you can see how cleanly they move around the map, playing around his lack of TP, investing, playing through 2 lanes, and now they've been able to take, what, 3-4 towers in very quick succession.
They have indeed really good macro coming out from Rogue, and I think this comes from the draft where they're on comfort against things that they're comfortable playing against. This is not a Sylas Humanoid that can roam around the map or clutch out team fights, things you have to be aware of. This is very safe front to back that Rogue are very easy and very happy to set up these small flanks with the Renekton. So for now, it looks like they're sitting pretty happy. I mean, 1 minute on this Dragon, they have to make sure that they can contest this. They have to make sure that they can secure this because they're running away with it. But Fnatic aren't done just yet. The one Shockwave, 1 Zeri, 2 item can turn a fight around.
All it takes is you're on soul point and you lose the fight, and then you can lose the game from there. Odo trying to trade with Wunder towards the top side. TP coming in as well, deep as well as Wunder realizes he might be in a little bit of a precarious situation. Humanoid, though, TP's up to the top side, so he's kind of abandoned his teammate here. I think Fnatic as well have abandoned the Dragon. Wunder will fall, he'll go down. Humanoid looking to get some gold back. on the map.
This is a great play from Rogue because they can't lose Nash and they will secure the Drake. Yes, they will drop tier 1 top, but this is what G2 did against Rogue. It was Caps on Azir TPing behind Odoamne, and now it's Rogue who have learned how to play this side lane, how to play with globals. Even with a control mage, you can pull it off. The 3-man of Rogue secure mid, then they will secure Dragon. They trade the kill for the top tower.
Question is, will they move straight towards that Dragon? Yes, they will. You can see Malrang already pathing that way. I think it's a little risky to send Larssen up towards that objective. He's just securing the walls for the time being. And it looks like this is going to go uncontested. So Rogue, this will be their first Dragon of the series, secured uncontested by Fnatic. And expectations were that Fnatic would come into this series and look strong. 3-0, 3-1 were the predictions. And Rogue looking to equalize the series. Of course, still a long way to go until this game is over, but Rogue looking the most comfortable they have for a while.
And this is the 3-lane setup that they struggle against G2 with. They're finally now able to play on 3 lanes, play through 2 lanes when they need to drop 1, and that's exactly what they did. They drop top lane, they play on 2 lanes heavily, they secure the objective, they're there first, and they have a numbers advantage. So now Rogue will back away, Fnatic will try to stop them, contest a little bit of this vision, and now the map will transition to the top side of the map for this Baron. Fnatic just trying to deny a lot of this bot side vision, put wards down, get vision, and then when Hilly bases, you will then transfer it back towards the top side.
See, Upsell still short of that Phantom Dancer on the Zeri. We'll see where he's sitting in terms of total gold. He's on about 900 right now, so still needs a little bit in his pocket before he can get towards that second item already. Rapid fire complete for Comp. And Rogue starting to put up a fight in this series. Baron obviously a possibility for them. They will melt through it pretty quickly with the Leandries on the Azir, with Renekton, with Lucian as well. I want to come back to that Lucian a little bit as well, because we did wonder if the tidal wave onto Hylissang tries to dodge away, will flash the wall. But we did wonder whether this Lucian Nami would define the draft coming through the series, especially after game 1 where they struggled so much into the Zeri Lulu. Here they've shown, the Zeri Yuumi, sorry. Here they've shown if they can remove that Yuumi, perhaps they can actually put this Zeri and Lulu in a much more precarious situation.
It's the Gale Force, that's the ultimate. Good response from Humanoid, but the damage is good from Larssen, and I think it's all about these mid laners. Game 1, we saw Humanoid with his control and how they then moved that around the map. We're seeing the same thing again with Larssen.
Fnatic
looking for a fight.
Trymbi flashes early, Razork still on the chase, though Keeper's verdict goes between the uprights. He scores a goal, but perhaps only one Fnatic needed in the fight. Razork able to get away with Odoamne, is going to stun him up. Ruthless Predator, enough. Larssen takes another, Odoamne one more. And with the jungler down, you have to deal, they'll put their eyes on the Baron.
The biggest question was, can Rogue bounce back? Can they perform here in Sweden in front of thousands of people? And the answer looks like yes for now. They're going to start off this Baron. Fnatic 3-man strong. They don't have the shockwave. It's on Upset and Hilly. Trymbi's going to get the plant to heal up. Not a lot of ultimates to work with for Rogue, none at all.
Ultra Shock Blades are coming out, but it only tickles Malrang in the pit. Upset trying to step forward. The Lightning Crash gets that movement speed. Stacking up. Larssen, no Chaos Storm for him, but he does have a flash. If he's looking for a little bit more than Baron, still at 4,000 HP. Upset trying to do what he can. Comp dashes forward. Hylissang force slow, but Upset still very healthy. And Humanoid in the side. The Shockwave up in 1. 0 seconds left on it for the Baron. Secured by Rogue. Humanoid looks for the Shockwave, only finds it onto 1. And they will manage to pick up a kill, but Fnatic trying to flash forward. Humanoid looking for more. Trying to get onto Trymbi. He will do it, but he'll fall in response. Rogue get 1, and they get the Baron.
They get the Baron indeed, Medic. Rogue walk away the victors. And while the 3-man squad of Fnatic tried their best, while Humanoid still secures a double kill, it is not enough. Rogue finally coming alive against Fnatic.
Yeah, Fnatic did their best to try to contest that. They don't have any front line to work with at all. They only have range, and they tried to stop the carries of Rogue from hitting the Baron so that the tanks would take the brunt of the damage from the Baron being started for so long. They almost pulled it off, and we'll see it here again, because Comp and Larssen aren't hitting it. It's Odoamne and Malrang, and this doesn't go down fast at all, so Comp's only angle is to dash forwards, force Hilly back, get in the pit somehow so they can finish this. Malrang has to flash the combo. They do get it, but look at the HP bars. Odoamne is almost dead. Malrang's basically dead. Good flash from Comp. Humanoid follows.
And Medic was calling it throughout the entire teamfight. He was tracking the ultimate cooldown, and you could see for Humanoid, his ult was so close to being a game changer. But Rogue were able to secure it. They get away with their lives. And Larssen, he feels good after that one. 5-0-3 is the scoreline. 8. He's been involved in 8 of the 9 kills for Rogue, and this definitely feels like a battle of the mid laners.
Smiles on the Rogue faces. Comp dashing forwards, no flash on Hilly.
Oh, okay. Hilly's been on the receiving end of a couple of cullings so far this game, and has struggled. Is able to dodge away from it at the last moment. Mid lane tier 1 does fall, though, and Rogue are looking for the tier 2 here as well. Obviously, he already took the bot and the top lane, and now playing on 2 lanes as they sack that top side, let Humanoid push it out. and they will group up down towards this bottom side to try and break the inhibitor towers.
You're absolutely right, man. Going for the 4-1, but Larssen is actually shadowing Odoamne, so they're kind of like 3-2, where Larssen wants to force Wunder back, make it so he can't aggressively trade to clear the wave. They have the Orianna, so they can shockwave if they step up too far.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage onto Upset. That's why Lucian Nami can be so deadly in these sorts of situations, and now Comp can step forward to the inhibitor tower. Razork trying to get in the midst of the fray, but he just can't find an avenue to approach his opposition. Humanoid stepping forward, Shockwave pulls back Trymbi, but Comp dashes in as well. Tidal Wave knocks up one, Keeper's Verdict's going to get rid of one of the Fnatic, or one of the Rogue players, but for the moment, Rogue continue just to harass and pressure this base.
40 seconds left on this Baron, though. No ultimate on Humanoid, no ultimate on Razork. That'll help them in the siege. Trymbi doesn't have the buff, so it's Comp who has to give it. Has the Gale Force.
Oh my god, Comp! Oh, what a move to make! Dashes forward and dashes the hopes of Fnatic to defend that inhibitor tower. He's looking to even this one out.
Fnatic, though, they're posturing, they're looking for the pick. Upset goes in.
Hextech gate. Oh, shock laser as well onto Comp. The ankle piston dodge. Upset going in with the lightning crash. That's what let's do. Razork on the chase of Larssen, and Malrang had to call for the retreat. Odoamne trying to get him from the side as well. The stopwatch from Malrang would only delay the inevitable. Upset still on the chase. 2 quick kills to him. The Gale Storm ticking away as Odoamne still trying to get him behind this fight. But Fnatic just barrel them down.
Have Rogue thrown it all away? Has Fnatic found that single window to get back into this game? Because this is a dragon. This is going to put them on Dragon Soul Point, and Upset now 3 kills on the Zeri.
Oh my word, Rogue. They got too confident. They overstayed their welcome, and Fnatic was quick to pounce. Let's have a look back at this.
Massive damage on Humanoid, and Rogue feel confident because they're at a numbers advantage, but Odoamne is not there. Larssen split, and Comp has no flash, so they just tunnel vision onto him to get this initial kill. Zeri dashing forward, Razork zoning away Malrang. Does eventually die, and Wunder gets the reset so they can continue the chase.
I think the thing that caught Rogue off guard was the Hex Gate. Razork being able to come in on that flank and kind of deny Malrang from providing that peel. Larssen then gets isolated as Odoamne has no way to offer assistance. And Fnatic, they just chase them down one at a time. A massive turnaround play for Fnatic, showcasing that they're not down and out just yet.
Big shutdowns onto Wunder. You can see Comp just really frustrated with that play. They had it in their hands, and it was as good as done with the setup that they had with Humanoid falling. But Fnatic find a way back in. Small dent in the gold lead. They're going to need a little bit more than just a dent if Fnatic want to pull this one back, because Rogue now sieging onto this top tier 2. Dragon is going to be so contested. Even if Fnatic lose the fight and they can secure it, that's their avenue back in.
Importantly, of course, no inhibitors actually fell during that siege from Rogue. They were able to crack 2 of the inhibitor towers, but they have yet to take down one of those inhibitors. Trymbi here on a ward. Flash knock into the wall and Trymbi down. Sashimi for dinner for Fnatic.
Very clean pick from Fnatic. Trymbi gets caught once again, and this will buy more time for Fnatic. The Baron spawns in a minute's time. And this is not an easy objective for really either team to secure. Of course, you do have Trundle, and you do have Poppy that can tank that objective up. But it's not going to be an easy one, especially with the range that both teams can play with. The crowd is coming alive for Fnatic, as Fnatic still stand a chance here in game 2.
And look at the item. Humanoid just bought Rabadon's Death Cap, 1k gold lead to Larssen, but the item's roughly the same for this Orianna. Incredibly strong, will tick towards level 16 slowly. Upsets picked up Infinity Edge. Big items coming in through for Fnatic.
And you said it earlier, Caedrel, all it takes is one shockwave. All it takes is a little bit of Zeri magic, and we've seen it so many times before this summer. All it takes is a Hextech Drake Steel from Razork.
Can you check the gold for me right now for Comp? How much gold is he sitting on? He has the BF sword, he has the crit cloak. He's going to have IE in base really soon as well. I think Rogue are going to be waiting for that Infinity Edge, but he can't base for now because Rogue do want to take this topside vision, and they want to make sure. I think Larssen actually just walked over that pink there. He needs to make sure he gets that one. He does indeed. Now Rogue will contest this next midwave. Fnatic group up as 5. Both these comps not great at front to back because their front lines are so weak, but Comp is the front line.
Dashes forward with the culling down. Wunder trying to do what he can as well, but he's already had to pop the World Ender, and the Ankle Prism will land. No follow-up damage from Rogue. Larssen not in range to really do too much. Mid lane prio gained though for
good damage from Comp. He's playing on the edge. Trymbi offering good support as well, giving him that additional spike of damage. Fnatic afraid to enter the Baron. Are Rogue going to start this one off? That they will.
They have to. 2 minutes on Dragon. They're on a timer to force this. They want to make sure that they can force Fnatic into a mistake, force them to walk into this pit. Odoamne in trouble.
Able to get away from the wall, not knocked into it, not stunned. Infernal Chain short as well. Malrang down half HP. The Ultra Shock Laser
can't do it.
From Upset doing so much work here. Malrang, of course, can heal up if he can get near some dying minions. His passive King's Tribute lets him do that, but there's nothing for him to farm up. He goes back to the Gromp. And because of that, Fnatic are able to take time and reset.
Rogue will take a base as well. I think Comp has IE in base. That's a really big spike for this Lucian. when the Collector, of course, gets the 60%, gets the IE, will be on towards 80% now. And Dragon in 1 minute 30. Fnatic have the option to just go Baron here and drop the Dragon. It's Rogue who have to make sure they have vision around it. They have to secure the objective before it spawns. So Fnatic, what's your option? Do you just force your way in, or do you just sneak a Baron as they're on it because they have to commit numbers towards the bot side? We'll see their answer in the next minute.
Fnatic have found themselves in this position before. Backs against the wall, often relying on their superstar upset to have to make the plays. 3-1 and 3 on the Zeri. We've all seen the Zeri magic happen. Let's see if Upset has another trick up his sleeve. Full vision control on the bot side of the map. Rogue have the push in bot, they have the push in mid. The Dragon spawns in a minute's time, and Fnatic is looking to reset.
And importantly for Fnatic and for Upset, Odo doesn't have Flash anymore.
Yep.
Flash Ruthless Predator is not a possibility. Odo will have to find a flank, something Rogue have struggled to do through the course of playoffs.
Will we see a Hilly diff? They're going to force their way into this bot side of the jungle. Rogue have the setup, and it looks like the way Fnatic's posturing, they're not going to go towards Baron. They're going to contest this next mid wave. They have a couple wards on it. Maybe they look for Larsen's flash here if they could dash forward here with the Poppy, but Banshees is just stopping them. Comp.
Killer goes down, Keeper's Verdict used as well. Razork cancels it.
Has to go the long way around.
They're going to go for Baron. It looks like Razork's on the top side of the map. 20 seconds on the Dragon. Humanoid's making his way down towards mid as well. Rogue needs to stop them from getting towards this Baron pit because they can't trade these objectives. They need to secure it and deny Fnatic from being able to get into this Baron pit.
I mean, the control wall behind Razork means that Rogue know that it hasn't been started yet. No one from Fnatic has actually walked into the Baron area. They're going to try and contest this mid lane prio. Dragon up in 7 seconds time. Could be do or die for Rogue here. You feel if they lose this game after the lead they had, all momentum is lost. The wind out of their sails, but here they're trying to face up against Fnatic.
This is it, the mid-waves are dead, and Fnatic are going to go towards Baron. What they need to do here, Rogue, is have their TP users start up the Dragon and solo it as Fnatic force, and then once they finish, they TP in, but Odoamne will be very slow, so you can see he's very hesitant.
Woo!
Humanoid.
The damage
going
is
out,
good.
Wunder looking for it, though Comp healed up once again. Stopwatch spot by Wunder. TP coming in from Larssen and Rogue, yet to start up that Dragon. They're looking for a little bit more. They can't find it. Wunder chipped away out once again. The solution, Nami, just a thorn in the side of Fnatic.
Humanoid has TP, the dance continues. They see Upset up towards the mid-tier 2. That's more time for them to go towards this Dragon. Comp dashing forward. The blue orb on the Baron gives them vision. They need to stop Fnatic from getting towards this Baron. They can't afford to trade. Larsen's going to go to start up this Dragon now. I think they've pushed Fnatic back far enough to be able to secure this Dragon with both the solo laners. Odoamne will have TP, but this is Fnatic's chance to go for the Baron start. How fast does this Dragon go down, and how fast does Fnatic react to the start? They're going to go for it. Does Odoamne TP on this top wave?
Odo TP to the control ward there, by the blue buff. Odo takes the Dragon, Keeper's Verdict goes wide there. Malrang has flash, he's got smite. Comp's got some damage as well as Wunder goes in, but the tidal wave's going to stop him in his tracks.
Look at Odo, look at Odo!
Forward and the Dragon has been reset. Odo waiting in the bush, waiting in the darkness, and he gobbles up Fnatic. Hylissang already down. The Baron not yet fully reset, some damage HP on it. Upset trying to do what he can across the wall. Humanoid could look for the behind the back door Shockwave, but he's already used his ultimate, so he can't find that.
Shockwave's down, Upset very low on mana. It's only Razork who can steal it, but Rogue, they've got the Dragon. They don't have to overforce this. They don't have to rush the play. They've bought themselves 5 minutes of time. They've stopped the soul. They don't want to risk a Baron flip. We were talking about Rogue's flanks. Odoamne seals the deal.
Really good TP there from Odoamne. He decided to just secure the kill onto Hylissang. He doesn't take any gambles, he just gets that pick. Now they move back towards the Baron. Humanoid Shockwave is back up. Odoamne on zoning business.
They don't have vision quickly enough. He's looking for the command attack, but he's not there in time. Rogue secure the Baron. With it, a 7,000 gold lead, and they can taste the win right now.
Yeah, Fnatic put holes in the ship of Rogue. It looked like it was slowly sinking, but they barred them up, and they're back afloat. They've got the Baron, they've stopped the Dragon Soul. They should be able to reclaim the map state as it once was before they made that blunder. The question is, can Fnatic find that angle again?
And you can see that Rogue is just not panicking. They did blunder, they did make that mistake. Trymbi was then caught out once again, and it felt like that the momentum swung back into Fnatic's favor, but they played that patiently. They were very aware of what Fnatic tried to do, and they were able to outplay.
Can't TP on the pink because they'll see it on the minimap, so he TPs on the top wave out of vision, so the place that Fnatic have to run to because of the culling and the pushback and the Nami tidal wave, Odoamne's lying in wait. Maybe could have gone for Wunder, went for Hylissang instead. Guarantee a kill is all that really matters in that situation when it's so tense. The poke was good. Humanoid, no shockwave though. Upset low on mana, they had to back away.
And the Lulu ultimate, he was aware that this could come in and save someone, and as you rightly said, like, don't gamble it, don't take the risk, just secure that kill. Odoamne definitely locked in. I feel like he did have a solid game one. He's looking to have another strong one here in game two. Shockwave comes through on a Malrang. He's going to brush that one off. Comp going to continue to do what he's done all game so far. Poke, dash in with the empowered E alongside Trymbi, chip them away with the electrocute, and slowly gain more ground on the map.
Wunder looking for a flank. Larssen trying to join his team. They're trying to contest this red buff right now. Razork will back away, and Fnatic are all spotted. Rogue, let's not forget, 2 Fnatic inhibitor towers are down. Wunder
walks straight into Larssen. Gravity well coming down as well. The Chaos Storm ticking. Wunder has to flash the wall. Gets shielded by Hylissang afterwards, but that damage from the Viktor is absolutely absurd. Now with the Baron buff minions still for a minute and a half, Rogue are going to try and push in this top wave. They've got a single cannon here with them. Humanoid tries to clear it out with the command dissonance. It's not quite going to be enough.
Just saw Malrang's build there. Redemption on Trundle. Yep. He's not actually got any damage whatsoever. He's a full tank Trundle with Redemption, so it's on Comp, it's on Larssen to find the backline damage, it's on Odoamne to find the flash Ws. Execution is pivotal in these situations. Fnatic holding the line.
But for how much? He's dead! Shut down! Razzle tries to flash forward as well, but Larssen can still turn this one around. Has so much damage on the Viktor, and it's all on him, you have to feel. Odoamne slicing his way away from Wunder down towards the bottom side.
Upset.
And Fnatic have at least delayed this, but Odo dives in! And Upset overstepped! Rogue find an archery kill on the enemy AD carry, and Wunder will fall as well. Rogue find 2, and with Baron remaining for 40 seconds, they're gonna look to crack the base.
Upset's confidence has been his downfall this series as Odoamne shuts him down. Beautiful play from Rogue as they're looking to break into the base of Fnatic once more.
I don't know if they can end, but they can definitely get 3 inhibitors. Hylissang so low, is he going to die here? He might have to use a flash. Razork's going to fall.
Flash away, but the Ruthless Predator finds his man. Odo takes him out, Hylissang down. And Odo on the clock sends a message to Fnatic. Don't mess with these jaws. Malrang going forward as well as Humanoid has to flash away, but Rogue have struck back in this series with control through basically the entire game. A couple of mistakes won't fail them this one. As Humanoid dies in the end, Rogue take the ace. And Malmö, we have a series on our hands.
Things looked a little shaky for Rogue at the very start, but immediately they bounce back. Sure, there were a couple blunders here and there, but they were able to stay calm, stay controlled, and equalize the series 1-1. We won't see a repeat of last year. We won't see a repeat of last split. Both of these teams are head-to-head as we move into Game 3.
Positioning is everything in these fights. You can see both AD carries going toe-to-toe. Confidence is in their blood, and as they dash forwards, they realize that's the blunder that they could make, and the blunder they did make in some of these fights. Comp caught, Upset caught. It's just a battle of mid-laners at this point, really, isn't it? Larssen now being the heavy hitter for Rogue on the Viktor. They found a lot of comfort in this Control Mage mirror matchup, but I think Fnatic are going to choose blue side now and look to first pick things like the Ahri or the Sylas, or just shake up that mid pool and not let it get to 4-5.
Oh, what an exciting Game 2 we had, and we're guaranteed 2 more games between these 2 teams. And it's great to see Rogue step up because, again, there were doubts surrounding them after the 3-0 from G2. People questioned how strong this team was, but they've demonstrated today that they can go toe-to-toe with Fnatic, and we're in for more games.
Hopefully 3 more, Vedi. We'll see if we get there. We're going to hand it over to Sjokz, who's standing by with the analyst desk to break down that one.
Thank you very much, guys. In fact, we were walking over from the green room to here to be on time for the end, and then we got here, and Fnatic all of a sudden had won a fight, and we thought it was all over for Rogue. And I think that does showcase, Chibi, how even though Rogue were so convincingly in the lead, there is always that danger. And I think that is to their credit that they were able to hold out in this game and get that win.
Definitely, because every time you're playing against Fnatic as well, you can see it. They're waiting around in bushes. They're trying to set up pockets of vision where they can at least try and get some picks. We saw it against Trymbi as well. But I think for Rogue, they had the resilience, they had the patience as well. They didn't rush themselves. I think the Baron play was a really good call here where they didn't just rush it just because one member died. They took it slow and waited for the correct play.
Yeah, I do think Fnatic had some unforced errors, though, in the mid-game here, because they were behind, and they were playing against a less scaling comp, so to speak. I think Larssen solved some issues with Viktor there, but they were still the ones with the scaling lead. And then they went for this mid-fight, where they lost 2 members and lost the first Nash. And then they went for some Nash contests that were a little bit weird. I think, in some sense, they should have just taken it slower. I think they could have scaled more than they did.
Broxah, you even said at a time, he said Razork is a fantastic player, but he does unfortunately sometimes have these unforced errors.
Yeah, when we were sitting and watching backstage, I was thinking, Razork, why do you die on bot tier 2? Razork, why do you overforce this mid-fight? And I think, you know, he's been so great this playoffs. This was an off game for him, and that combined with Larssen stepping up massively and just going crazy on the Viktor made it a rough one for Fnatic.
He's allowed to make some mistakes. He's been playing so well. But let's talk about that mid lane then, because we theorized so much about the bot lane importance. Was the key to this series all along, Rekkles, banning the Sylas?
So I think the first thing for Fnatic now is finding another pick than the Sylas. I know they're going to be blue, but most likely Rogue will keep the Sylas ban. So then maybe do you drop the Azir ban yourself and play the Azir? Or do you have another pick that Humanoid can shine on, because I didn't really feel like Orianna was it this game, and it also opened up Larssen to be a carry because they didn't really have that pressure in any phase against him.
And I think that's the big thing, right? You gave Larssen comfort. They took away the biggest threat, which was the Sylas, and in turn you had that scaling aspect, which you requested Rekkles as well in our first game. But I think it's really cool that they still keep the Lucian around. They need something that bridged the early game into the mid to late game where Larssen then can take over. So Rogue, we asked the questions, can they come back? Are they still chokers? Well, this is the best of 5. They managed to come back in the second game.
Yeah, I think even though not all of their plays went their way this game, Rogue, they still went for many of them. They were late to one of the Drakes. They did a TP bot with Renekton and didn't succeed to get any of the kills, which might as well have been 3 of them. But they were going for them. They were really trying to make some plays, and I think that's the difference from game 1 to game 2 for me, that they're really trying to be the proactive team instead of being the reactive team.
And I think that's the key part for me as well. You have to be able to go for the clutch plays, to play the game the way you want to play it, to, rather than being, you know, reactive to whatever Fnatic does. And sure, there were some hiccups here and there for Rogue, but them showing that they're willing to do so with the pressure is massive.
I think that moment where Comp gets shut down by Upset is where you think Upset could actually take this over, but they had a one-track focus and they said, no, we're going to kill him and we're going to push through. And I think that is a great sign. Let's take a look at a couple of things that went well for them as well in terms of fight. I don't know which one we're getting first. The bot lane. Yes, this goes from bad to worse because Martin, it looks like Fnatic does want to engage here.
Yeah, so this one is right after the, I think it was the second Drake that Rogue was late to, and then they went over to the Herald. We had the map trade where Rogue got the tier 2 top and Fnatic got the tier 1 bot. And then in this situation, I'm not sure exactly what Humanoid is doing up in the top lane, but I think he is freezing the wave, which allows Rogue to then take 2 towers for free. So a mistake, in my opinion, on Fnatic's side, because Rogue is with the tempo here. You have to stabilize the map before you make any sort of freezing situation in the top lane or any camps that you're looking for. You need to stabilize the map first, and I don't think they did that here.
Okay.
Yeah, and the key part as well, Humanoid missing, Upset being mid lane farming. Like, you cannot give all these tier 2s away for no reason without getting anything in return. If Upset was pushing mid tower, if Humanoid was in top turret, it's a different story, but here, they just gave it away for no reason.
And one of the big things I really think that puts Rogue in this position is that you finally managed to get some of the objectives. I think first game, they didn't get a single objective for themselves. This time around, you finally had a second Herald to play with, and while I think their use of it was a little reactive, it still shows that suddenly they have gold injection to put them ahead of the curve when you reach that mid game. Because if you don't have Larssen to play for, and if Comp is not in a good position, I think game is difficult, but this time around you saw them in that position. So I think a lot of it comes down to Herald preparation and the way they secure the objectives to put them in a comfort spot.
Yeah, they pushed their advantage very well. They didn't lose their heads, I think. And I think for the side of Fnatic, maybe they did a little bit. And I spied some tendencies that I have seen from them in spring, in summer, at times, you know, an overstep from a Razork or a Hilly at times. Is this a case of Broxah just reining in the players a little bit and keeping their head in the game going into game 3?
I feel like this is one of those games where Fnatic are going to tell themselves that if they had just played a little more cautious, if they didn't give Rogue the openings, and if they just defended well while they were only a few thousand goals behind, then they could actually easily have won the game in the mid and late game. But because they made so many mistakes and gave Rogue so much free gold, it just spiraled out of control.
And I have some news hot off the press. Fnatic chose red side. So,
wow.
Yeah, wow, GB. What makes you utter wow? Obviously, that's not... It's actually never happened, I think, these playoffs so far.
Not in playoffs. Fnatic has done it before when they were in week 8 and they had the tiebreaker against Misfits, but they lost that one. So I'm not sure how this is going to look, right? But I think it might be a sense of like the jungle rotation picks when they came through. They valued the Poppy over the Trundle. I think this time around they might try and swap that around because it's something that gave Malrang a lot of agency and allowed them to play way more aggressive than he could when he had the Vi, for example. But red side is going to be curious. They might just have something we haven't seen yet. They might have their own prep ready. It's certainly a Fnatic thing to pull out.
What are we thinking? Is it something they haven't shown yet?
So I would probably change my 4 pick and 5 pick if I was Fnatic here. I think the first 3 is okay. It's not optimal. I would rather go for the Trundle myself, but I think it's okay. For me, it's more you make a volatile lane top lane by blind picking the Aatrox. And then the Orianna, to me, is not really the way to go here. I would much rather see an early game mid, actually, from Humanoid, but I'm not sure which one that is, because he used to have a lot of success with TF, and the whole TF thing happened, and whenever that was,
I was going to say.
I don't know what early game mid it is that you're looking for, but I don't think I would myself want to see Orianna again, because I think that also lets Larssen then just do whatever he wants. And he's good enough to take over a game.
I completely agree. I think you can only get away with last picking mid in this case if you pick something like an Akali, something aggressive that can really take over. And if you log into Orianna, you might as well pick it on focus. You know, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and that is the question then. After what we've seen from Humanoid in game 1, he completely took over on that Sylas, right? So now we have to hope there's something more there, because I see the bans chuck towards the mid lane. It's gonna come to show if that is the key to this series, GB, but that also opens up opportunities for Fnatic, right? If they're going to focus mid lane so hard.
I mean, most certainly. There's obviously still the upset problem that might arise even in this bot lane that they had. Fnatic's bot lane was still able to get that priority. Now, Rogue didn't play through that necessarily in the early game, but that could also be Fnatic saying, you know what, going into the next game, we have a different idea of how we want to approach it. And if that is playing more through that bot side to give upset more agency for whatever reason you want that to be, that's certainly one you can open up with too.
At the very least, I'm glad that Rogue fought back. They seemed more confident in their plays. They went for them, and thus they gave themselves a game win and a little buffer. Something you want to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say fast that I liked what Comp was doing this game. At sometime around 18 minutes, he started dashing forward, and then he kept that for the rest of the game. Sure, he got caught in the end, and he had one of the middle portions as well. But at least he's going for it, and I think that's what they need to do. Yeah, just keep going for it.
Awesome. We will also be covering picks and bans here at the desk after the break, so we will be right back.